decide to form Kiss Beauty? What happened?
Oh, that's because I always into beauty, and then I was thinking, what can I do with something that I want to do with the beauty? Then what can I do? I'm very good at logistic, sorting out the stuff and in product and all that. So I decided to work um as before that I was working in a stores just to gain the experience. And after that, when I feel like I was ready, I opened up Kiss Beauty and was able to do it okay, but I wasn't really happy with that life because there was no time for me to have my own time. It was all about work, work, work.
Yeah, so where was that, in Korea you did that, or was that here?
So
Was that in the US or in Korea?
it was in US, Chicago.
Wow, you were in Chicago too?
Yes.
Okay, so you went to Chicago and you did that. Then you did, what's C2 education? What was that?
Oh, so C2 education is all in our in US. It's in 50 different states. So it's prepping um place where you prep for the college education, homework assessment and things like that.
And so you did, excuse me, you did that. Then you went to, how did you go from that to Premier Financial Alliance?
Okay, so it's a long story. Working in an education field was pretty fun and it was very rewarding. However, it was very time killing and it was very exhausted. I had to do everything. And what I was thinking, what is the other way that I can kind of have a financial freedom, make a little bit of better money, and then doing something that I might enjoy again. And there was friend when I was in Virginia. She said that why don't you try this financial industry, which is more like insurance. And then I was like, how can I do it? And she said, it's not that hard. And then since I'm very vocal and I like to, socialize with the people, she said it might be really good for you to try out. So I took the exam and then I was able to, join. And then I was appointed to different in the insurance company and work a little bit about it. But same thing. It wasn't all my passion. So, I just moved from insurance to mortgage. And then from mortgage, I was just living in my comfort zone, basically.
Wow, that's amazing. So, and then what made you decide to go to BHA Worldwide? Because you were at Premier for a couple of years. What made you decide to make the leap to Chief Creative Officer? How did you do that?
So as I mentioned, I was always into beauty, and then I am always into logistic. Like I wanted to create a product. I wanted to see what kind of product can be bring into US, and then I can, sell and then let the people know about the Korean product. So I team up with other friends to create the company, which is BHA Worldwide, which is my initial. And then, yeah, that's my Korean name initial. And then I worked a little bit on that. And then it wasn't a little bit, I worked pretty all my years, like almost 10 to 12 years doing it. And I wasn't really happy with being in Virginia due to there was some of the personal um, you know, matters and problem. And I wanted to move to West Coast. And that's how I ended up coming to San Jose, work.
You just made a decision one day and said, "Oh, bye-bye, I'm heading out."
No, no, no. It wasn't that, like relationship, friendship, all different with the other things all came together. And
Uh,
then I was just like, I don't want to be here. I want to go somewhere else. Since I've been so many different places, why not? It's not that difficult for me. So I just
wow, that's
moved.
amazing. So, going down through it. So what are the differences so you're doing Lura now, but what are the difference between, because I know my wife says the Korean products are a lot better. Why is that? What's different between the compounds, or how do they get better?
I don't want to say Korean product is better than American product. I rather say that Korean know a lot of um they have a lot of knowledge on this different ingredient. Korean are very famous with Oriental medicine, right? So we know a lot different types of natural ingredient that we can utilize to create something with it.
Yeah.
So, and manufacturing is like not that difficult to do it. So when one, let's say you have this ingredient, you really think it's gonna be very effective, you kind of required to create a sample. They will make the sample for you, and then you try out and all these different things, and then you come up with your own formula. So
Really? So that a lot of it's based on the ancient kind of medicine, right? Because they know the
yes,
natural ingredients. So are Korean products based on more natural ingredients than they would be in the States?
yes, that's
Generally?
when I say that.
Wow. And so you did that. So did you, is BHA still in business or not?
They're not.
No. So you moved out, and then you decided to, what's the difference between BHA Worldwide and Laura? How's it different? What kind of
Oh,
different?
so Creator Worldwide was more on the logistic. I get the product and then I try to sell that product in US, the Korean product, which is not my product, but the other product, which is I think it's very good for American to try out. It's like first thing I bring it and I feel like, oh, this might work with American market, and I try out back and forth.
I see. So
Yeah,
you were basically, distributing this stuff to the US
yes,
market. And
yes.
what was the response like? How did they, how did you get them interested in buying the products? What happened? Were retailers, or were they direct to consumer?
It was a wholesale, and then it was more of the distribution to retails. Because it's not really my product, I wasn't really willing to sell the product directly to the consumer. So more of the thing that I want wholesale people to understand the difference between Korean product and American product. Since we are using a lot of natural ingredient, I wanted that to feel the benefit of gentle and mild skincare product. And that's I was thinking like, American product, I'm not really sure what they're using, and I wasn't really familiar with what they're using, retinol, all this kind of thing. I wasn't really into this kind of thing. But as I mentioned to you, in Korea, natural ingredients are everywhere. You can literally just pick and choose whatever you want, and then you test it, and then you will gonna know that it really works. Basically, from prickly pear to just regular, I would say, hemp oil to rose oil, anything that you name it, we can create a product out of it.
Wow, that's amazing. And so you do that. And so what made you decide to form Laura? So what's the difference between Laura and BHA? So you're doing your own products now, right?
Yes, I'm doing my own product, and it's based on it happened. I make the Lura beauty and cosmetic because of my own personal experience. When I went when I was diagnosed with the cancer back in 2021, it was very hard and very difficult. It was very huge shock to me. I have no family history whatsoever. I was living pretty healthy life, eating healthy and all that. So I was really don't know why it happened to me. But what happened when I was going through this medical treatment, I starting to get a lot of skin issue, like chemo rashes all around my face, my body, itchiness and dryness, name it. It was just driving me pretty much crazy.
Mhm.
And I wanted to find a natural product that I can use during the treatment, but nothing really met my need. And so I team up with my co-founder Isaac, and then different experts in the different industry, in the different field, to come up with this product using a nitric oxide water.
And so you founded this during the time you had cancer?
Yes.
How was that? Did it help you to get through the cancer? Does it help when you're building your company to be distracted, or did it push you through it?
Well, dispute despite a lot of challenges, I was able to create the product because I was very determined. So I really wanted to find a product that's gonna be working for my skin, should be very gentle and mild and effective. Because you don't see right now, but I had huge chemo rashes all around my face. If you scratch it, you're gonna starting to, you're gonna get a scar out of
Wow,
nowhere.
that's amazing.
Yes, so everything, just touching a little bit of it, it's gonna create another problem
Well, you
because
can't tell that right now because you look like you have the most perfect skin I've
oh,
ever seen in my life.
thank you so much. I think it's a benefit of now of nitric oxide.
I don't know, but it's working. So what made you to come up on this nitric oxide? How did you come up with that?
So I knew about nitric oxide a little bit about it because I told you that I have people in Korea that I formed together to come up with a Lura Beauty. Our scientist in Lura, exclusively working with Lura, he have this patent technology use nitric oxide water that's drinkable. And my uncle had a cancer as well, and then he was drinking that water. He said it benefited him a lot. So I got really curious and wanted to try drink that water. I asked my uncle if he can send me some, and then
Did it work?
yes, definitely. And that's why I was interested. Oh my God, this water is amazing. And I started to research about more about nitric oxide. And then knowing about the huge, amazing benefit of nitric oxide, I just cannot leave it like that way. I'm just like, let me do something with this because this is amazing. I want everybody to have a benefit out of using this.
Well, that's amazing. And so you started your company, and how big is your company now?
Well, it's not that big yet. We are just starting. We just finished the custom development, and then we gained a lot of positive testimonial from customers. We have a wait list right now for the pre-order, so it's ongoing process right now.
And so what are the lessons out there? You've been through a lot, Grace, in your life. What are the lessons you can tell entrepreneurs? Because very few people, right, as entrepreneurs have to go through cancer and everything. How do you keep a positive mentality when you're building something like you have through all these dark times? What keeps you so incredibly positive?
So through this process, I learned different things. I try to stay upbeat, because I try to stay very positive because you get very sad, you're emotionally, you're very, you can easily break down because you're like glass, it's very fragile that once it drop it, it just, happens to be.
So you stay positive, you keep yourself positive. What do? Distract yourself, work on things. So that helps. And then I mean, those are the same skill sets you need to build a company, right? You got to be I remember one time I went out with this guy who's a right hand man to Rupert Murdoch, and he said you need. He said he studied 3,000 entrepreneurs, and he said they have amnesia. They never think about the past, right? They only go forward. Quite
Mhm.
interesting. Yeah, you're so. Um, so for the companies, are you just in the U.S. now, or you plan on going global with this?
We have a distributor channel in Korea as well. So once we starting this selling in America, definitely it's going to sell in Korea side too. Our manufacturer experts, they wanted to sell the product exclusively in Korea as well. So we have several different international distributor channel right now in Hong Kong, Vietnam, here, Korea, and New Zealand right now.
Wow, that's amazing. So what are your closing thoughts for the other startup entrepreneurs out there, and how do people get a hold of you? What's the best way to reach you?
Oh, so best way to reach me is through our email, which is info@lurabeauty.com. Or you can find us and check other information through www.lurabeauty.com.
Fantastic. And what are your closing thought? What words of wisdom would you give to other female or male startup entrepreneurs looking to do what you've done?
So when you feel like there's a challenge and there's a fear, you will not able to do anything. So I think it's very important to like overcome the fear and then challenging yourself, try to expand yourself to learn more different things. Then you will gonna definitely have potential to grow within yourself and then achieve the goal that you wanted. Just like me, like skincare industry is saturated. Thinking about it, I can just, not even thinking to jump in and do it. But I faced my fear and then wanted to challenge myself. And since I know the good ingredient, why not? I want to come up with something, challenging myself and make people to understand why am I doing this right now, how I can help other with my knowledge and all that. So I just want to tell everyone to not giving up whatever they're thinking and just pushing themselves towards to achieve what they want.
That's great. Whoa, that's great words of wisdom. Thank you. I really appreciate it, Grace. Joel?
Thank
So
you.
thank you both. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Grace, for another wonderful Gary's picks. Grace, what you're saying about the nitrous oxide and products, that's really, really very fascinating. And also the advice you're giving for startups and just sharing your experience from an empathetic perspective for the other entrepreneurs who view this. That's invaluable. Just so people know that they're not alone out there. It's not just them who are having these feelings. This is very, very common feeling. So that's wonderful. Yeah, again, thank you very much. Thanks to VC Task Force, and look forward to seeing everybody back in 2 weeks for the next Gary's Picks event. In the meantime, happy Thanksgiving, everybody, for those in the audience from the US. I always forget this is a global audience. So everybody else have a wonderful, healthy, happy next couple of weeks. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.